Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Galactic Wisdom. I am in Arizona, in the middle of the desert out here. I am close to Sedona, and I'm just 2 miles away from Bradshaw Ranch. And I have come back out here to investigate the UFO activity, the paranormal activity that is out here in this area of the world. And it's a little bit windy here right now, so I'm going to go sit back in my car so that you can hear me better. And there's air conditioning. It's over 100 degrees Fahrenheit here at the moment, so very, very warm. My phone overheated the last time I tried doing a podcast. Well, how about that? I just dropped my phone on the floor. Let's try that again. Yeah, my phone overheated the last time I tried to do a podcast in this sort of heat.
Well, it looks like we just lost him. He might have hit a button while he's out there. So yeah, he's out in the middle of the desert doing some type of a private investigation, because we discussed this before the show started. So hopefully we'll get him back soon while he's out in the desert. And I was like, where are you? And because he was on his UFO tour, he toured the country. He visited pretty much from the mid to the southern tier states across the country. He didn't come up this far north. Otherwise, I would have met him myself. But hopefully he'll be coming back, and I think he's coming back right now. There you are. I was like, if you can flip your phone sideways, but don't drop it. There you go.
It slipped out of the holder there and fell on the floor in my car, bounced out of the car, hit the red rock dirt floor. Okay. Does everything look okay?
You were doing a private investigation where you are right now, and you just recently finished doing your UFO tour across the country, the mid to lower tier states. So now you're out there again doing more.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, while you're here in the studio, are you able to access the video of the orb video? It'll probably be the last video I uploaded. We could just show them that video. It's a 1-minute video. And then I can talk more about it and why I'm out here right now.
Is that the Bradshaw Ranch video?
Yeah.
I'm going to say goodbye to you. Enjoy, have a great show, and those watching and listening. So, all right,
thanks,
stand by.
Bill. Do you see that orb? Hello? Oh, look at you. Hello. Welcome. My name is Rupert, and I'm wondering, who are you? Can you talk to me? Yeah, I can see you. What's your name? Oh, you're beautiful. Are you a alien? A non-human entity, or are you a human spirit? You are not a lens flare. You're in a set location. When I move the camera backwards and forwards, I'm going to come closer to you. Whew.
Rupert, that is not a bug, because I do a lot of sky watches. I have cameras, you know that. And you can see the other bugs that appear on the screen.
Yep.
And at different distances, you can see the bugs. This is not an out of focus bug, because that happens a lot. Dust, other things, are caught on camera, and it could be an insect or it could be dust. I personally, and I've been doing it a long time, I see no evidence that is either a bug or a speck of dust in the desert out there. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just saying. So that is a really interesting catch. And it's not something on the camera lens because like you did, you moved it.
Yep.
And it's either staying in its position or in that general area. So that is really an interesting clip. All right, I'm done. I just wanted to put my little 2 cents in there.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate you saying that. I'm glad you saw that and gave your analysis because I think that's a really special video. Yeah.
Like I said, I do a lot of sky watches. I do a lot of camera work, and I know what I'm looking at. You know, a lot of the times, that's really an interesting catch. In my opinion. Anyway,
thanks very much, Bill. Awesome. Yeah. So thank you, Bill, for that brief analysis there. My background is as a space scientist, and I have the same opinion as Bill there. That's not an insect. You see insects in the distance, you see insects right up close, and they're clearly solid. And that thing, whatever it is, I'm calling an orb, that maintains its same appearance, a diffuse volume of bluish something when it's far away and when it zooms past the camera. If that was something that was out of focus, it would come into focus somewhere in its journey from far away from the camera and towards the camera. It's not something that's out of focus. It is something that is diffuse in nature. And at no point when it comes past the camera is there any sort of solidity or density to it at all. There's no structure to it at all, other than the patterns that you can see within it. So yeah, that is a paranormal something, whether it's alien or more sort of paranormal, ghostly, spiritual. I don't know. I don't know what it is, what that consciousness is. But clearly in that video, it seems to be interacting with me. It does come back down when I say hello to it. It does when I say I'm coming closer to it. It shoots past me. It knows I'm there. Clearly, it flies past me. So I have a team of professional psychics and mediums that I work with, and when they saw that video, they were similarly impressed, and they are able to tune into the energy of that consciousness. And what's interesting is all of them agree that it doesn't have the energy, the feeling of a terrestrial human spirit or a terrestrial animal spirit. It is something non-terrestrial, extraterrestrial. It is maybe trans-dimensional, extra-dimensional, ultra-dimensional, but it's not a regular terrestrial consciousness or object. So exactly what it is, I don't know. There are lots of theories. Could it be a spirit of some kind? Possibly, but it doesn't seem to be a human spirit or a terrestrial spirit. Could it be some kind of a projection from ultra-dimensional space into our three-dimensional space? Possibly, like a window, like a portal or a projection. Could it be some kind of a vessel or a probe coming in from somewhere else? Possibly. I don't know. But what the professional mediums and psychics that I'm working with have said is that they feel that orb, that was a deliberate contact with me. It stuck around for over a minute in my presence, interacting somewhat with me. And some of these professional mediums feel that the orb wants me to go back. And so I have returned. Just under a month after I videoed that, I have returned to Sedona, to Arizona, in spite of the intense heat and general hostility of this environment where I am going to go back to Bradshaw Ranch, which is about 3 miles from here, actually, this evening. In fact, I'm probably going to go back before sunset, have a look around the ranch while it's still light, and then hang out there and try and connect with that orb or any other entities that are there. Again, that's my goal, that's my mission. And I'm going to say that I'm doing this more than just as an investigator. I'm not going there investigating to see what's there. I'm going there because I want to make friends with that orb. I want to make friends with the beings that are there. This is like a friendship, a relationship building exercise for me. Can I communicate with the beings? I suppose it is an investigation of sorts, but it's more to do with building a connection, a relationship with these beings. Now, it could well be that the orbs don't particularly want to communicate with me again, or the beings there are not interested in that. I don't know. But the fact that they were there once, and the fact that they're in a place that is generally known to be paranormally interesting, indicates to me that that's their territory, that's their domain. And if they appeared in that location once, then if I go back and hang out for long enough, maybe they will appear in that location again. So I'm going to head out there and I'm going to try and connect with them again, make friends with them. And so, yeah, if I disappear, I could have stepped through a portal. People have warned me to be careful around that area, because if you roam into the wrong place, there are portals you can step through and vanish forever, or disappear off in one of their orb craft, if they have craft. I don't even know. There's a few things that could go wrong. That location is swarming with copperhead rattlesnakes, I've been told. And I've seen documentaries and videos, and people have sent me photos of people who go to that location and get attacked by something paranormal, and they come away with big scratch and claw marks on their bodies. People who have gone to that location have suffered radiation burns, a number of people, in a similar way that they experienced that at Skinwalker Ranch. So I'm going to go there not armed, but I'm going to go there equipped with a Geiger Muller tube, which will detect alpha, beta, gamma radiation. Those are the harmful ionizing radiations. And it will beep every time a little bit of radiation goes into the tube there. And if it starts beeping too quickly, too frequently, then I will know that something isn't right. The radiation is too high and I better get out of there. Could it be natural radiation? Yes. Not probably from natural rocks. Could it be coming in from a portal? Yeah, a portal or a vortex. Maybe when it opens up or fluctuates, like a solar flare, there's radiation pours out of it. That's a possibility. But the land is also owned by the government. And part of the Bradshaw Ranch is actually fenced off, very high fences. And inside those very high fences, there is a tall sensor post. Looks like a metal sort of structured posted metal tower with sensors on top, with video cameras on top. They monitor what goes on there. They know there's something going on there and they monitor it. And I don't know, but if they see people doing things that they don't like, do they have the ability to aim high energy particle weapons at people to deter them from what they're doing? I don't know, but I'm going to take precautions by taking a Geiger Muller tube with me so that I can be notified if I'm suddenly being exposed to high doses of something. It's very interesting to me that the government owns that land. They clearly know that there's something going on there, paranormally or extra-dimensionally, and they just let people roam around that area. They do own it, but they haven't fenced off all of it. There's no trespassing signs. Why would they allow, and it almost seems, I don't think encourage is the right word, but why would they permit people to roam around there and take videos of orbs and things like that, knowing that those videos are going to reveal to the general public and population that there is paranormal stuff going on there? Well, there's 2 or 3 ideas, possibilities, theories. Could it be that that place, they don't understand everything that's going on there, and they don't know how to investigate it, and so they just let people go on there and see what happens when the population go on there? Maybe the general population going onto Bradshaw Ranch, they're being like guinea pigs, voluntary guinea pigs going into a location where what happens when people are there? Maybe it's dangerous, and they don't, they don't want to go out there and study it with their own scientists, so they're letting people like me go on there and to investigate. But it is very interesting that they're permitting people onto that location. Maybe they've tried to communicate with the entities there. They've had no success at all. So they're watching to see what investigators do and what works and what doesn't. When I investigate places like that, when I go in there, as I said, I'm trying to make friends with those beings. I'm filling myself with peace and love and light. I am expelling from within me any hatred, negativity, negative discrimination, and I'm going there in the most ascended way possible. I think that that's probably why when I went to Bradshaw Ranch for the first time, just under a month ago, I was there for less than a minute before I had that encounter with an orb, where people I know who have worked who've done investigations in that location for 30 years, have never been able to take a video like that, never had that close an encounter with orbs. So maybe I can show the industrial military complex or whoever it is that's watching, I could show them that peaceful intentions and peaceful contact is a good way to go. So that's what I am trying to do. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to video what goes on. So if anything interesting further than what I've already showed you happens, you will get to see it. Let's see. One thing that I'm going to try is to increase the emotion within me, because there have been quite a number of incidents, people I've talked to that have had very profound experiences with non-human entities, who say that the beings came to them when they had strong emotion. And sometimes the strong emotion was sadness, despair. People going through very, very hard times reached out to the universe, reached out to aliens. 1 or 2 people prayed, and that is when they had experiences. I also know that some people, like, for example, the Skywatcher team, they will go out, and one of their methodologies is to play very inspirational music. I've sort of participated, not with the Skywatcher team, but with somebody that's on the team who played their music sort of playlist when I was doing a contact event. And the idea was to raise our emotional state into the inspirational, transcending into spiritual realms of emotional high. And what I'm going to try when I go there today to Bradshaw Ranch is I'm going to take along I need to charge it up, but I'm going to take along just a Bluetooth speaker and play some of my favorite songs and sing along to them. I'm going to sit there and sing to the entities positive, happy, and inspirational songs to see if they like that, if that attracts them to come in. It's like, what is this strange human being doing, singing, making all those strange mellifluous frequencies of sound waves? I don't know. Maybe they will tune into my emotion when I'm singing along to songs that I like, and maybe that will attract them in. So next week I will tell you what the results are, whether I was successful or not. And even if I don't have a close encounter with an orb again, in terms of experimenting, that's still a success because it shows me that it's not as easy as just turning up at Bradshaw Ranch and seeing things like that. There's it's harder, it's rarer, and there's some other way that I'm not trying to really establish relationships with them. So that's what I'm doing in Sedona. I am going to be here for, well, I'm not sure, maybe a few more days, maybe a couple of weeks, investigating this phenomenon. Okay, now the title of today's podcast, what was the title? It was something like Preemptive, oh, there it is on my screen, Preemptive Attacks. So I'm going to talk about that because this show is Galactic Wisdom. I try and talk about ways that humanity can be wiser, and that feeds directly into why I'm trying to reach out to non-human entities in peaceful ways rather than exploitative ways, in peaceful ways rather than violent ways. So I'm going to talk about this idea of preemptive attacks. And when I talk about attacks, it could be like full scale, like international attacks, launching missiles and bombing other countries preemptively, which means we're going to do it before they do it to us, or we perceive them as a threat, and therefore we're going to take away that threat by attacking them first. So we could be talking on that sort of big scale, but preemptive attacks could also be just regular people in social media, regular people in our everyday lives. If you read a news article about somebody, you judge that person to be guilty of something, and you go on social media and you say, hey, this person's guilty of something. That is essentially an attack on that person. And whether it is justified or not, it is still a preemptive attack because that person has not presumably attacked you. And you've just read a news article. Who knows if the news article is telling the truth? So you've gone out there and you've attacked somebody who is not attacking you, and may not even have attacked anybody else or be doing anything wrong. Because when you make your post, you're attacking them. That's assuming guilt without having proved it. So this subject of preemptive attacks can be on any level in our lives. And I'm going to refer to my notes here on my laptop to do this. So the questions we're looking at today: is it okay to attack a person, organization, or country preemptively? Preemptively means before they do it to you. And if you do it before they do it to you, you don't know if they were going to do it to you. So you go out and you attack people without knowing if they're going to attack you. Is it okay to attack them because we think they might attack us? Is it okay to attack them because we consider them to be a threat to us? Well, the answer to these questions depends on what our priorities are, what our highest priorities are. If our highest priority is our personal survival, then preemptive attacks are good for us. if we place our survival, our well-being above everybody else, while you go and attack other people, you knock them down, maybe even kill them, and that makes you safer often, more often than not. And so, if our priority is to protect ourselves, then preemptive attacks going to be okay. If a country out there, if we feel like they might be making nuclear weapons, and we don't want them to have nuclear weapons because then that becomes a threat to us, even though we've got nuclear weapons and we're a threat to them. We don't want other people to have the same level of strength and ability to attack and ability to defend ourselves. And so we might consider them to be a threat because, well, if they build a nuclear weapon, they might use it against us. And we deem our survival as the highest priority, then sure, it is good for us to attack them and to destroy their nuclear capabilities, if that's our highest priority. However, if peace and harmony are our highest priorities, then clearly attacking other people is, well, it's not peaceful. It goes against our highest priority. It's not harmonious to go and attack people because we consider, well, for any reason. It's inherently unpeaceful to attack others. That's what attacking others is. It's the opposite of peaceful. And so if our highest priority is peace and harmony, then attacking others preemptively is the opposite of what we should be doing. And if you're of the frame of mind that, well, we attack them and wipe them out so that we can have peace, that's a very warped idea of what peace is about, of what peace really means. You go and wipe out the enemy so then you can have peace. Your principles you're not adhering to your principles, and you're saying that the ends justify the means, and you're not being a moral individual or country. So let's look at those two perspectives. Now, morality is subjective. So I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to give you my subjective opinion. My subjective opinion is going to become very clear, but I'm not going to tell you it is like somehow inherently, universally, fundamentally right to take this way rather than the other way. It is a matter of opinion, but I'm going to justify my opinion to you, and I'm going to examine both sides of the argument. It helps to understand why we feel what we feel about this subject. I understand why people might feel happy. We feel like it's appropriate if our country went and gave a preemptive attack on another country and we knocked out some of their military might. I understand why people might feel, yeah, that was the right thing to do. I understand that. Because, there's a part of me with deep inside that feels a little bit safer when the country that I am in does things like that. When bad people who commit crimes are, taken out of action, shall we say, in various different ways. In movies, when the bad guy gets what's coming to them and they're killed or destroyed or put into jail and therefore taken out of the threat is removed, that inherently within me feels justified. Okay, so I do understand the feeling, But let's analyze where that comes from. Where does that feeling come from? Human beings tend to have instincts and feelings that guide their behaviors in ways that are beneficial to their survival. Our feelings, our instincts, they didn't just magically appear out of nowhere. There was no magic wand that was waved at us to make our feelings be moral. Our feelings have come to us after billions of years of natural selection. What is natural selection? Well, natural selection, let me give you one or two examples. Let's take spiders, okay? Anybody out there in the audience listening is a little nervous of spiders, wants to keep away from spiders or snakes, even though most of the spiders that you might see are harmless to us. Most of the snakes that you might see are harmless to humans. A lot of people feel an instinct to retreat from spiders. A lot of people feel an instinct to stamp on them, squish them, kill them, shoot them, cut off their heads. A lot of people feel those instincts. Why? Well, in the past, people who have felt an instinct to go up and stroke snakes or pet snakes, I think they say in America, to make friends with snakes and spiders, even though often they don't get harmed, sometimes those human beings have been harmed. They've been bitten by rattlesnakes, they've been bitten by black widow spiders, and they haven't made it. They've died because of it. So if there's a bunch of people who feel an instinct to go and make friends with these creatures, and then there's a bunch of people who feel an instinct to keep away from them, well, the ones who feel the instinct to keep away from the snakes and the spiders, they're more likely to survive. And so having that instinct, having that feeling is a survival advantage. And so that they tend to survive more, not always, but there's a general tendency for people who have instincts and feelings that guide them to act, to keep away from snakes and spiders. They tend to survive more. And because then they tend to survive more, they tend to reproduce more, they tend to pass on their DNA more, they tend to pass on their instincts and feelings more, then it spreads out into the population. The tendency for people to shy away from snakes and spiders. That's just one example of many. But basically, when we behave in ways that assist our survival, then our survival is assisted. And we tend to pass on those characteristics, those instincts, those feelings, those ways of behaving to the next generation. And they spread throughout our population and all populations of organisms on the planet. And so there is this natural selection. And if there's any kind of thought that, well, somebody out there might be a threat to us, and if there's any kind of an instinct saying they might be a threat to us, so we're going to attack them, we're going to attack them before they can attack us, and then we do go and attack them first before they attack us. Well, attacking others tends to put the attacker at an advantage. It increases their advantage and it decreases the advantage. It disadvantages the victim, the person or the country or the society, the organization being attacked. Attacking others preemptively is a survival advantage. And so, given that it's a survival advantage and given that attacking others first before they can attack us is a survival advantage, that's why a lot of people feel that it's right to do it. That's how a lot of people justify it, because it's for self-preservation. It's a naturally evolved instinct. So that is why a lot of people feel that kind of behavior is justified and is right. It does increase our chances of survival. It does impart a survival advantage on the attacker. However, that's to do with survival. That's not to do with morality. And we have the ability to be more intellectual than just responding to our primitive instincts and feelings. Attacking others preemptively is not moral. It is not good. It's certainly not peaceful. It's not a peaceful thing to attack people, to attack others, especially preemptively. It's not peaceful. It's not good. It's not moral. I have a vision, a philosophy that is universal peace. Universal meaning everyone, indiscriminately, undiscriminate, without discrimination, and universal love, which is essentially caring unconditionally for everybody. Attacking people first because we consider them to be a threat, that's not caring about them. Universal well-being, well, you attack somebody, you're taking away, you're reducing their well-being. So preemptive attacks on any scale are, in my opinion, immoral. Attacking others preemptively doesn't adhere to the morally and philosophically correct philosophy of assuming people to be innocent until or before being proved guilty. There is this idea that in our societies, in modern developed societies, there's this idea that is a fundamental basis of our legal and moral convictions, and that is that you assume somebody is innocent until they've been proven to be guilty. Well, attacking somebody before they've done something, that's the opposite of that. That's assuming guilt before they have done anything wrong. We're attacking them because we consider them to be a threat, not because they've done something wrong. So it's judging and sentencing people for things they haven't yet done. That's immoral. Even though you might feel like it's right because it assists your survival, and even if it does assist your survival, it's morally wrong. This is like this could be a light bulb moment for many people, because a lot of people, their sense of morality, think about that term, their sense of morality is to do what feels right to them, not to do what intellectually they can work out using the power of their mind. People's sense of morality is an instinct that is not always moral. And so if we go by what we feel, then, well, that's going to land us as a species exactly where we are now, doing what we feel is right. And the result of human beings doing what we feel is right is often catastrophic to other people. It often results in wars and conflict, huge amounts of death, suffering, genocide. You could pretty much say any crime that is committed of any nature is probably done by somebody who felt that crime was justified because it assisted them in some way. It doesn't mean it's moral. And attacking others who might be a threat to us proves to others that we are a threat to them. It teaches others that if they ever get the opportunity, then attacking us preemptively might be in their best interests. So if, for example, the United States or the United Kingdom, where I'm originally from, if we go out and we attack a country because we think that they might become a threat to us if we don't attack them and take away their strength, then what lesson are we teaching them? We're teaching them that we will attack them before they can attack us. That's what we do. That's our way of dealing with other countries. And so it's showing them that, well, here are the big, great countries who are very successful in staying alive. If they want to stay alive, they have to do what we do, which is to attack maybe us before we attack them the next time. It also shows them these countries are not friendly. They're not. Their highest priorities are not peace, not harmony. They're not interested in peaceful, harmonious, diplomatic relationships. We're not going to these countries and saying, let's just be friends. We'll put aside our differences. Let's be friends, and then we won't need any of these weapons, and we won't need ours either. We're going to them and attacking them, and we're making enemies around the world when we do that. And if you do that in your life, go around and attack people, sure, you might get the advantage. If you go around attacking others, whether it's honest attacks or dishonest attacks, there's a lot of disinformation out there. People attacking people with false accusations. However you attack in dishonest or honest ways, you are achieving, you're raising your advantage by disadvantaging others. You're walking on top of others. That's not moral. That's not right. And you will become an attacker in other people's eyes. Those people with wisdom can see, well, those people there I can see them hurting others. And sure, they're saying they think it's justified, but they are the ones doing bad upon others. And I better keep away from those people, because if that's, if that person there, when they end a relationship with somebody, then they get on social media and they attack the person they just got out of a relationship with, then, well, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with my friendship or my relationship with that person in the future. Because if something goes wrong with our friendship and they're going to attack me on social media, I don't want anything to do with them. It's this question of, are we doing what is best for our survival? Or are we doing best for what's peaceful and harmonious? What kind of a relationship do you want with others of any nature? With romantic relationships, with friendships, with family, with co-workers? Do you want a relationship where you have control because you are domineering and strong? Is that the kind of a relationship you want with others? Or do you want a relationship where where both parties care about each other and act in friendly ways to each other and choose to walk away from conflict, to talk about things when there's disagreements, to be okay with each other's differences, and to still be friends with them? There's somebody I met in Sedona a couple of days ago. I went to a coffee shop, sat down, checking my night vision cameras out there, and some people say, "Oh, that's a cool night vision camera. Can we see it? Can we talk about it?" And they were interested in UFOs and things as well. And then a lady who was sitting across in the Starbucks, she walked over after a few minutes and said, "Are you Rupert?" I was like, "Yeah." She says, "Oh, right, I follow you. That's really cool." And she also does the kind of thing that I do. She's a paranormal or alien investigator. Very nice person. I'm not going to say who they are because then I'm going to be sort of openly judging her on this show. And we stayed in touch, and we met up a couple of times, and we went and did a contact event together, and we're being friendly, we're being peaceful with each other. But I will tell you that just about everything that she said about aliens and the paranormal, I completely disagree with. And a lot of people, when they have those disagreements of their opinions about realities, you could say beliefs. Her beliefs are, in my opinion, completely wrong and completely inconsistent with my convictions. And every time she says something to me about her opinion about alien stuff, I'm like, no, I'm completely opposite. I completely disagree. I'm tactful about it. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that it's in the nature of humans to have different beliefs and convictions. And when we have those differences of opinion, how do we respond to that? How do we act to that? Do we let those differences of opinion let a wall come up between us? Do those differences of opinion make us feel hostility to the other person? Do we feel threatened by those people having differences of opinion? Or do we just say, well, we may have differences of opinion, but I can see you're a good person, and we can chat friendlily, and we can go and get Starbucks, we can go and do a contact meditation in the desert, and we can be friends, and we can be peaceful and harmonious with each other. That's the option that I suggest to people. Now, sometimes your differences of opinion might make you feel like their sense of morality is different from yours. But it's still just a matter of opinion. And when we try to impose our sense of morality on others, that's immoral. And so sometimes our peaceful coexistence with others might not be an active friendship. It might have to be a separation from them, the opposite of unifying. And that might be true for individual people. It might be true for countries. We don't agree with the political or religious or economic philosophies of that country. But let's just be friends with them anyway. Let's try not to force our opinions. What is that thing? Oh, it's my hand. Okay, sorry, my screen's backwards and there was something weird moving in my screen. I thought it looked like an alien with antennae, but it was just my hand, sorry. We don't have to force our opinions upon others. Okay, so another thing, human beings are extremely easily manipulated into believing that other people are a threat to them when in reality they are not. But it is far safer. Well, the reason for that is that it's far safer to perceive threats where there aren't any than to fail to perceive threats where they are. And so if we perceive threats where there are none, like in a friendly snake or a friendly spider, and we kill those friendly snakes and those friendly spiders, well, it's safer to do that than to to fail to notice that the snake or the spider that's close to you is dangerous and to not kill it. But killing friendlies is not moral. But it's one of the reasons why we're so easily convinced that other people in other countries are a threat to us, because it assists our survival, because then we go and kill them. It works for us. It helps our survival, but it's not moral. Human beings are extremely susceptible to being manipulated into attacking people and countries who are actually no threat to them at all. And I see that all the time. People promoting violence towards others and being violent verbally, textually, and physically towards others all around the world, in every country, even in countries where that we're not actively at war. I see it. I see people attacking others. It's hard to quantify, but in my experience, I would estimate that no more than 0.1% of humans are immune from such manipulation. That is like 1 in 1,000 that has the intellectual capacity and the moral and the spiritual level of ascension to be to rise above their instincts, to hurt others, to attack others. Can you be an extremist in peacefulness? Can you be an extremely peaceful person and choose not to harm anybody other than in direct self-defense? If somebody points a gun at your head, hand shot first. Han was right to shoot first because Greedo was just about to kill him. if you know what I'm talking about, that little Star Wars reference there. I am, of course, suggesting that peace is more important than survival. That is my subjective opinion. Given that we're all going to die eventually, it seems to me like a far more constructive and enjoyable use of our time on this planet to engage in peaceful, loving, harmonious interactions with each other than self-centered battles to stay alive. I wish you all peace, love, and happiness. Thank you very much for watching today. Take care, everybody. Goodbye for now.